Hey everyone, Jeff Pyle with Farmobile here today, and I just wanted to go through and talk a little bit about some introduction pieces of Farmobile. We'll talk about a few things from the hardware all the way through the actual Farmobile DataEngine account that users will have, and then even getting into a little bit on data out to kind of showcase what happens with that data once it has the opportunity to leave the system as well too. So we'll go ahead and get started here and take a quick look at the first thing that we'll dive into, which is going to be the actual puck itself. So inside of the every subscription, our users will receive what's called the Farmobile PUC device. And so this is a universal device that sits in the cab of any agricultural piece of machinery. You'll see that there's different ports on here that allows the device to actually be able to connect up into the machine from multiple different interfaces here. So basically, whenever we sit down with a customer and understand what data they're trying to collect, what they're interested in collecting from an activity perspective, if that's planting, spraying, spreading, harvest, or just a device that sits in a truck for navigation purposes, then we're actually going to be able to sit down and understand what cabling they need as well too. So for example, in this case, this is going to come along with our standard cable, which is pretty generic and with a 9-pin diagnostic port that plugs into the diagnostic port on many machines, and then this will actually plug into the puck itself. And then also there will be the actual antenna as well too. So this is something that the puck comes along with its own GPS and cellular. So it's out of the box ready. It creates an opportunity for growers to be able to kind of get an introduction into precision agriculture if they've never had an opportunity to put GPS on a machine or anything like that. So right out of the box, it's ready to go, and it's tied into the customer's account. Basically, you'll see two ports here because there's also an opportunity for us to connect into other CAN systems as well too. So if there's any aftermarket providers that a customer would like to collect data for or anything else, it gives us an opportunity to have just other physical connections into the machine. So again, this is our 4th generation device. It has been released in late part of 2018. And as we go through, basically whenever this plugs in, the key is turned on a machine. If that's a spreader, sprayer, planter, or harvester, or other piece of equipment, basically that data is going to go ahead and go into what we call our Farmobile DataEngine account here. So what we're going to kind of take a look at here next is going to be 2 of the supported activities that we currently have today showing are going to be the spraying activity, crop protection, and then fertility or spreading here. And so one thing as we're going through, again, we're collecting both agronomic and machine data here. So if I take a look at this sprayer that's running down here, we can kind of see a high level view of what's going on. But again, if I want to drill into that particular machine, I can, and I can bring up and understand what the spray rate is. What was the target rate? And just like how we're used to seeing heat maps for agronomic data, you can do that with all these tiles that are on here as well too. So if you want to see what the target rate was and how the actual spray rate was at the time, you can showcase those. Tank level, but then also if we scroll down here, again, if we want to map out the machine torque and understand our machine, maybe there's some nuggets of data that we can better understand whenever we take a look at that, and just better understand that data for our own operation. So again, that's going to do the same thing where we are currently in a field boundary right now. And so at midnight tonight, that's actually going to roll all this data together, aggregate it all together, and create again an electronic field record. So I'm going to navigate back to our fields section. And again, this is kind of an overlay of two different entities. We had our farmer hat on earlier, and now we have our ag retail hat, to where we can come in here and they're covering the same areas of land, except for they're doing different activities. And so this is where Farmobile is really striving to make sure that that trusted advisors are part of a grower's network, and 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 sharing data is something that's positive for that farmer. So being able to come in here and be able to see what the farmer has completed, when they planted a field. Maybe that's going to be an indicator of when they need to come in with a crop protection plan. But then also if they have completed harvest, being able to come in here and see what fields they've recently harvested, and then maybe they have a fertility plan that they're coming in with afterwards. And so again, that's going to be the same thing on their side, where they can come in here, and if I select an activity, it's going to load up all the electronic field records, all the passes in this machine, and then I'm going to be able to come in and say, well, which ones were done the previous day, the previous week, which fields did we actually complete here? And so again, with demo data, it's not showing here for me, but as we go through, and if individuals inside the backside of the office are wanting to know which fields were covered last week, I can come in here and better understand what happened from just a field coverage perspective. But then I can even come in here, and if I want to drill into a field, I can do so. So that way, if I'm an agronomist, I want to look more details into a field that was covered, I can look at that, look at when it was covered from a spray perspective, but then even down on a spread site as well too. So being able to come in here, understand, I have my different bin rates that are applying product. As I come in here, I get my aggregated totals here. And as I navigate into, I want to see what my other bins are showing here. So if I have different product that was applied based off my different bins, now those are usually tied to the work order itself, so they're actually able to come back in here and understand what was the actual true applied rate, not just the target, but the actual applied. And so that's where, again, we're trying to increase the transparency, increase this flow of data towards us, to where even the capability is in here now to where an ag retail member can share this data back to a grower as well too. So we have a lot of customers who are asking for that, just like would like to know more details about what happened in the field. And so that's a part of the decisions. So understanding every pass that goes across the field, that's what Farmobile is here to do, is to do our best at collecting those passes and aggregating that data together and presenting it. And so whenever we look at the data that's coming through in EFRs, the last part that I want to go ahead and cover off of collecting spray, spread, plant, and harvest data is then getting that data back out. So we have some integrations that we have to where other companies who are doing business with ag retail members or with growers can set up an integration with us and can get that data piped through an API connection. But then we also have this way, which is open for everybody to come in and come straight to an EFR or to all their fields and click export. And so this is our export that we're going to be able to support out. If we want an aggregate export, which is a summary level of data, basically anything that you see here within the electronic field record cards, that's going to go ahead and showcase up here in this aggregate format. And that's going to come out in a CSV shapefile or GeoJSON format. So that way, if you want the field boundaries, you can and export everything out. You can select that in shapefile or GeoJSON format and be able to collect that. The next thing is going to be the actual point-by-point data, which is going to create the opportunity of those 1-second pulse records that I was referring to on the live view. That's going to come out in this file here next. So if you select the point-by-point, then you're going to get the true point-by-point records of whenever that machine passed through this field. And if anyone is curious about our export schema or our data dictionary, please reach out to us and we'll provide that over to you so that way you understand a little bit more about what the point-by-point data is that you should expect. The third option is the actual boundary export. So if you just need a clean boundary set, you can export that out. You can draw boundaries in here, or if customers already have boundary sets, they can provide those over to us, so that way we'll get them uploaded for them. And then the next thing, we still have a lot of demand for just EFR PDFs. So this view right here cleaned up into an electronic field record PDF, so that way they can print it off and be able to provide it back over to the customer. Again, you can select it down to just a field, or if you would like to roll up to all farms and have everything exported out all at once, then you can select your activities. If I want to go across and say I need to get all my spread reports out, you can select that. You can include machine metric information in there, or you can uncheck that and then export that out. And so once the data gets generated here, it's basically it takes a little bit to spin this up. It might take 15 minutes to an hour, depending on how big the request is. But once that gets completed, then an email is sent to the user who's currently logged in that the report is ready, and then they'll be able to find it here on the download section here in this left portion of the panel. That is really just a basic introduction about Farmobile from the PUC view, the actual hardware, how it integrates into two of our bigger customer groups, being a direct farmer group as well as our ag retail group. We have a lot of folks who use our data differently, and so we try and make sure we're flexible enough to support our many different individuals who are our partners and customers, and make sure that we are creating value and a solution for them in their digital data strategy here. So if there's any questions that anyone might have, definitely give us a call, 844-337-2255. And we'll be happy to get you taken care of. You can also connect up with us at support@farmobile.com. So hopefully this was helpful for everyone here today to kind of have a little bit of an understanding of a little bit of an introduction of Farmobile. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch it. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.